Am I the a-hole for telling our mothers they cannot join our vacation? My fiancé and I are getting married in August. We are in the thick of wedding planning and feeling very stressed. He travels for work and has acquired 3 free nights at any Hilton property. We booked the Waldorf Astoria in Cabo. Because he is a Diamond member, we were upgraded to a massive 2-bedroom villa that is over 2,500 square feet, all for free. My dad is a flight attendant, so we get very cheap flights there. Essentially, the entire vacation will only cost us about $500. Anyway, both of our mothers have asked to join us. They are 60 and 70 years old. One is divorced and the other is widowed. We are very close with both of them and get along well. However, all they do is talk about wedding planning, and having them join us would obviously change the dynamic of the trip. We want to be able to have intimacy, swim naked, and do whatever we want, and it will feel different with our mothers there. I know I shouldn't feel bad, but I do. I feel like we are experiencing an opportunity of a lifetime that they have never had, and we owe it to them to allow them to join us. I also think having them there could be fun in a different way. They would have their own bedroom and could do their own thing. However, my fiancé really does not want them joining and does not want to hear about wedding details throughout the vacation. Our mothers have mentioned a few times how they are so envious, and we are so lucky, and they wish they could join us. We sort of just laugh it off, but I feel really guilty, clearly, since I am asking here. I am very curious to hear other people's thoughts. Are my fiancé and I being unreasonable for saying no? Update: this is not our honeymoon. We are going to Cabo this week. It is just a random vacation to use up free Hilton nights that will be expiring soon. We will still have a proper honeymoon after our wedding. I think this is an opportunity for you to get closer with your fiancé and that you want to be alone with him. He is the one you are building a life with, not your mother's. Am I the a-hole for maintaining a relationship with my brother's ex-wife when they have 2 children together? My brother was married to his wife for 14 years, and they have 2 boys together who are 10 and 12 years old. Their marriage struggled a lot, but they managed to make it last for that long. I became very close with his wife, and she was a wonderful wife and mother to him. I know for a fact that my brother cheated on her in the past, even though he will not admit it to me. I am also 99% sure he left his wife for his current girlfriend, although he will not admit that either. The divorce has been quite nasty, and restraining orders against him have been in place and everything. They can only speak about the boys. Recently, my mother, who is the grandmother of the boys, and I, who am their aunt, made plans to get together with the children and their ex-wife. These plans included staying the night at our house because they live out of town. My brother found out and exploded. He was extremely upset, but we were firm in stating that this was not fair for the children, and the kids deserve to see everyone get along for their sake. My brother frequently speaks negatively about their mother, even in front of them, and we have always vowed to not take sides for the sake of the kids. Of course, everything escalated. Our other sibling called me, basically telling me that we were terrible, saying it was selfish to do this to our brother and questioning how we could choose the ex over family. Essentially, I was told we were bad for prioritizing the children over everything else, and neither of my siblings sees it as compassion for the kids. As a result, the family is divided, and my brother wants nothing to do with us. Apparently, neither does my other sibling. Am I the a-hole for letting my brother's ex-wife stay at our house with the kids? Should we not have any sort of relationship with her? In my mind, it is best for the kids to see each side of the family getting along and not harboring hatred for one another. The divorce has been very traumatizing for both of them. In addition, I want to thank everyone who commented on this and provided reassurance that we did the right thing here. I understand that severing ties with my brother is not the end of the world. I am so disappointed by the behavior of him and our other sibling. Unfortunately, they will only associate themselves with people who are on their side 100% of the time and support them to the bitter end. This pattern appears in all their friendships and other aspects of their lives. However, I am the person who will tell you when I feel like you may be leaning towards the wrong side and urge people to see the other point of view, and I do this out of pure love. Regardless, It is okay if we are seen as the bad guys here. Children always come first, no matter what, and I will be their ride or die forever. One day, the kids will figure it out, and I hope that when that happens, they know we were always on their side because they matter the most. Not the a-hole. Your brother cannot claim any moral high ground, either in the past or in the present, and he is actively engaging in parental alienation by speaking negatively about his ex in front of their children. You and your mother being neutral for the benefit of the children is what should be happening, rather than putting the children in the middle of hostilities. Document as much as you can for the inevitable custody hearing. Your sister-in-law needs all the support she can get. Am I the a-hole for setting a boundary about not wanting to talk about food, which led to my cousin cutting me off? I am a woman in my 30s, and I have a young son named Asher who faces significant challenges with food due to autism. His eating habits are not just a matter of being picky. They are closely tied to how he processes the world around him. This is something we have been working on with professionals, and it causes me a great deal of stress and anxiety. I find myself crying about it multiple times a week. My cousin Kelsey and I used to be close, but over time, our conversations about food became really triggering for me. She would often send photos of her child eating healthy meals, make comments about how certain foods are gross or bad, foods that Asher enjoys, like goldfish, and send me suggestions or tips that, while perhaps well-intentioned, felt like passive advice that I did not ask for. On one occasion, when Asher was eating goldfish, she casually mentioned that she read they are a leading cause of cavities. Remarks like that accumulate when you are already feeling emotionally overwhelmed. After discussing this with my therapist, I made the decision to set a boundary. I sent her a message to explain that food is a difficult topic for me and that I would prefer not to discuss it anymore. I made it clear that this was not about her. It was about my own anxiety and what I am experiencing with Asher. I even mentioned that I felt embarrassed to admit how challenging it has been and that I wanted to avoid the topic to protect my mental health. Unfortunately, she did not respond well. She suggested that perhaps they just shouldn't come around anymore, and when I attempted to clarify that I was not blaming her and that I valued our relationship, she insisted on distancing herself. I remained calm and explained again that I was not accusing her of anything and that this boundary was about my feelings, not hers. However, she completely cut off contact. I honestly did not anticipate this reaction. I was not rude, nor was I attacking her. I simply established a personal boundary and was shut out as a result. I have been blocked for several months. So, am I the a-hole for setting a clear boundary about not wanting to discuss food, even if it made her uncomfortable? So now you know, she was doing it with harmful intentions, and when you asked her to stop, she became upset that she could not intimidate you any longer. You are not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend, I will not set him up with anyone because he is emotionally immature? So I am a 30-year-old female, and I have a friend named Ryan who is 31 years old and has been in my social circle for a few years now. We met through work and became friends after bonding over shared interests, and he is generally a good guy, funny, kind, and so on. He has been single for a while and recently started asking me to hook him up with one of my single friends. At first, I kind of brushed it off and said they were not really his type, or they were not looking right now, but he kept pressing. Eventually, I told him I was not super comfortable playing matchmaker, especially when I have seen how he handles relationships. For context, Ryan has a bit of a pattern. He jumps into things super fast, gets clingy really early on, like texting constantly and needing constant reassurance. And then when there is any sort of conflict or miscommunication, he either shuts down or spirals into guilt-tripping behavior. He has admitted he has some abandonment issues, which he is working on. But from what I have seen, he has not really done much besides acknowledge them. I have had female friends tell me his past dates were emotionally exhausting. So I was honest with him and said, "Look, I care about you, but I do not feel comfortable setting you up with someone I care about when I think you still have some emotional stuff to work through." Well, he got really offended. He said I was judging him and basically called me insincere for being his friend, but thinking so little of him. I told him that being honest was me being a friend, and that I would rather be straightforward with him than set up a situation where someone ends up hurt or it becomes awkward. He has not responded to me since, and now I am wondering if I was too harsh or out of line. I genuinely did not mean it in a mean way, but maybe I should have just lied or kept it vague. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You were honest and upfront, and I would have probably done the same thing. However, isn't this reaction basically what you would expect from someone who is emotionally immature and tends to shut down or spiral into guilt-tripping behavior? Unfortunately, it can be just as hard to be a close, honest friend to someone like that as it is to be in a relationship with them.